Hi, everybody. We're live. Hi,
Uh,
Sterling.
hello, hello, hello. Good morning or
So,
almost good afternoon here. Yeah, just tipped over to good afternoon.
so I got a heads up from your wonderful wife who said, "Hey, would you be interested in doing a live with Sterling? You and I have never done a live before."
Yeah, and I think that went back to we promised that if I was going to start doing lives to the public, we would do it with you, right?
Oh,
So
yeah.
we want to honor that promise. Yeah, because I'll probably be collaborating or doing lives to the public here and there, and I want to at least we want to honor that.
Right. It's Sterling and myself. I'm not the
Mhm.
one doing it. The one good thing about this particular, um, what is this called? It's called, what is it?
Streamyard,
StreamYard. And
Streamyard.
that you can share. You know what I'm saying?
You can
It's not
simulcast to multiple channels.
a
Yep.
multiple channels. So thank
Yeah.
you guys for coming. Singing Tree saying, "Oh my God, live with Sterling."
Yeah, and I just did a live with my members about an hour ago. That was actually started at 10 o'clock Pacific time. Yeah.
Now I'm a member too, but I keep forgetting to catch it. But I'm a member. That's all that matters. Um,
Mhm.
but it's called, what's it called again? Your
Well,
membership.
it's right now we call it we're at a platinum level. Uh-huh. And
It's
actually, we have a
called,
new membership level coming out down the road here, titanium level. There'll be new benefits to the next level. Mhm.
what's that? What's the bennies? Or can you tell
We're,
me
we're
that?
not we're not going to go through that right now.
Okay.
We'll announce that down the road here. But yeah, but right now it's the platinum membership, and
Well, you
well,
must have got a lot because I heard you're doing kind of like what I had to do is you have to do A through F and blah 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 during the week to handle all the members.
yeah, you know what's interesting about that is that the universe kind of works through us, right? All of our guides and angels, and even with the random question selection, I find that guides and angels work through that. So like the right people get selected, the right messages get out there. So I'm fully willing. I'm easy. I told the members we can do it random or do it by the alphabet, and I let them vote on it. 90% said let's do it by an alphabetical method. So
Because
shift it over.
then that's fair. You know, people can get a turn. Because in
Yeah.
my membership, by the way I divide it, everybody gets a turn.
Eventually.
Eventually.
Eventually is the watchword. Yeah, exactly.
So, okay, my friend. Thank you to Lisa Foster. Thank you, Dan. Dan's here. I think Water Lily
Yeah, Water Lily's a moderator on our channel and
on your
does a,
channel.
a
She's
great
wonderful.
job. Great
Right? She
job. Yeah.
does a great job. So does Lisa.
Hmm.
Lisa Foster does a great job. Dan can do a great job too if he's awake. Um, I'm just teasing you, Dan. Um, okay, so Lisa pointed out there was a whole bunch of questions. Oh, Connie's here too. Hey, Connie and Seascape. Oh, we got some good moderators, Sterling. We're being covered. Thank you, Debbie, for the
Good.
super chat.
And by the way, shout out like to Lisa Foster, does a wonderful job on your channel. If she wants to be a moderator on our channel, just send us an email, info@sterlingpsychicmedium.com, and we'll get her set up.
Except when she's doing my channel.
Exactly. Oh, exactly. Yeah.
Okay, so Lisa brought up that a lot of people are asking about that 10 Commandments sign that Louisiana is putting in their classroom.
Yeah.
By the way, that governor, whoever he is, refused $700 and something thousand dollars, $750,000 to help feed poor children in Louisiana. He refused it.
Mhm.
But he's putting the signs of Moses up on the thing. But that's my comment. But what do you get on that?
I get it's going to die out. It's going to go nowhere. So it's like a flash in the pan. It's going to cause a lot of controversy, chaos, but it won't get widespread implementation. Yeah.
Right. You know, Jesus Christ was a very compassionate energy form, and this is a bunch of hogwash. But I will tell you, because the guy said, I hope they take this to the Supreme Court, because he's so sure the Supreme Court would say, yeah, you can keep that sign up. I see Biden winning and a lot of things with the Supreme Court changing, and all this will be old news.
Yeah, and I've talked about on our channel many times. In fact, did a forecast even several months ago, and even going back several years regarding Biden winning the next round of presidency, and that 45 would be on the ballot, and the Democrats were going to get the House and the Senate, so we're going to have a lot of ways in which to leverage new legislation, reduce the criteria on the filibuster. Lots coming up, lots of good things.
Right. And people are asking about Kate Middleton. Have you read on her lately?
I did months ago, haven't lately. She's dealing with a very critical problem. So
that's what I'm feeling too. But God bless her, because she's trying her doggonest to.
Yeah, and I get they're using new therapies on her. Again, not a doctor, but I get they're using new therapies on her. So I think that she's gonna make some progress, but she's got a very difficult case.
I see her having a bit of a reprieve. Like she might do good for a while, but she's just really and you know what? It's so hard for them because they're in the public eye, and people just feel entitled. And I'll be honest with you, sometimes I feel uncomfortable reading about her because she's got her own life, and it's like when I had cancer, I don't know what I'd do if people kept saying, "So what's going on with Linda?"
Yeah, and I go easy. I was going to say I go easy in those areas when people have major medical challenges. The information that's brought through is only supposed to help. So it's not about, for example, pointing out that person's going to pass. A lot of times it's about the journey they're on and helping other people and the medical things they're going through. So, anyway, I remember when the Queen was going to pass, I saw that very clearly, but I absolutely did not talk about it, saying she's going to pass with the month. I just didn't think it was appropriate. I want the family to kind of have some privacy.
Right. Well, we weren't going to do personal questions, but you said certain ones you wouldn't mind. Phyllis is asking about her husband Ray's been ill and the stepsons are coming to see him. Will it go well?
So it's this kind of a 2-level question, I assume. Like, will the visit go well, or will the illness go well? I guess the visit. Yeah. Actually, there's a lot of understanding coming out of the visit. I see that in a very surprising way. There's going to be a lot of understanding here. It'll be a new level set for the family is what I see here. Yeah. So don't set expectations, meaning don't expect the worst. Ease into it because it's really going to be beneficial for the family. Yeah.
And Phyllis, you said stepsons. I have a feeling there was a little disengagement from them. I don't know what happened, if they're mad at him with something to do with their mother, but I feel some healing taking place.
Yeah, I validate that completely.
Larry said, will Judge Merchan take Trump's passport away from him?
I don't see it happening. No.
Okay.
Don't see it happening. Actually, this is probably a larger answer than she's asking, but I do see that there's a plan in the federal government behind the scenes to try to figure out how the nation can extricate themselves from 45. So, I've talked about this for years now, that I said that 45 is going to eventually escape to the Middle East. But but the federal government's going to be like, oh, we didn't ever see that coming. Oh, he escaped. So it's almost like the Nixon pardon. It's like the best way to handle it all, because if they put him in prison, they limit his travel. A lot of his supporters are going to go radical. They're going to go more rogue than they are. Yeah. So I don't see them. I see them almost planning, to get rid of him.
Right. And the next question, there was a good question here. Worried about Putin and North Korea collaborating. I don't know why I feel it's a nothing burger.
Yeah, so they've been collaborating for years.
Yeah.
They did a public media event here recently. I get it. But a lot of what they've written is non-existent. So they're talking about some agreement, treaty. It's almost like a pseudo-NATO agreement between Russia and North Korea. What I get on that, it's a lot of nothing. So it's actually business as usual. But actually, neither one of them is going to get into a nuclear war on behalf of the other one. So it's like a big media event. It's like a big 45 media event, is what I'm being told. Yeah.
Okay, so I also feel Putin is going downhill fast. That's what I'm getting. But I'm going to tell you, Putin doesn't have any money. That's why he's kissing up to North Korea. He's trying, and North Korea is not that flush either.
Yeah, well, it's really starting to hurt Putin now, right? Right
Yeah,
now, he has the limitation of weapons. There's a ramping up of weapons now at the border between Ukraine and Russia. There's gonna be a lot. You're going to see a lot more activity. Uh-huh.
right. Oh, this is a good question. Will Californians step up to our climate and homeless issues apart or in addition to our governments? Very good question, DRC. It's
Yeah,
a
but they're already starting. They're already starting. And what I get is somebody asked me about this a while back that like for California, it's not a 4 or 5 year kind of a landscape because it's going to take that long for all the new financing to come in, homeless problem, new green technology, AI technology companies. We got a number of years to go here around California, but within 5 years, it's going to be a progression, but we're going to see a big change.
okay. Well, I know it's very hard. You and I are both in California and we read up on all the latest.
Mhm.
And I know they're trying really hard, but they will come up almost in 2 years, like some sort of plan that's really going to help, but mostly getting the ones who really don't want to have a home because they're mentally ill,
Mhm.
getting some sort of thing that they can be assisted medically.
In Los Angeles, they announced today, there are two structures, one getting ready to put in another like 200 people. There's two high rises that were built in downtown Los Angeles to house the homeless in apartments. So they got one of them done. Yeah, you'll see it on the news. It's quite nice. It even comes with what I guess they call medical care, counseling. So not only are they places for the homeless, but it's a way to kind of rejuvenate them, get them integrated back in society. So yeah, there's more of that coming. Mhm.
And you have to hire the people who can work mano a mano with them and help them because
Mhm.
the governor during COVID just had hotels, empty hotels fill up with homeless, and they were making fire pits and tearing it up, and it
Exactly. Yeah.
really didn't help.
Yeah.
Okay, this is a good question too. If you see something too, let me know. Well, the person who placed bombs, in fact, if you hit the question, you can have it show up here on the screen. So here, I'll show you in a minute. First, will the person who placed the bombs
Well,
outside?
if you're asking me to answer the question on the screen, happy to do that. That's what you're asking?
Right, but you
Yeah.
can also go, since you're becoming a new live person, which we love, you can go to the question, and when you highlight it, I think there's a plus, or I'll show you in a minute.
Are you talking about the star? Are you talking about starring comments, then going back to them later? Yeah, I mean, I use this technology all the time. I'm not sure what you're talking about right now.
It's
You mean
just
highlighting the
how
question,
you can
starring
bring
it?
it up on the screen.
Oh yeah, no, I do lives all the time. But
Okay,
you put this question on the screen, so I thought you wanted to answer this question.
and
I,
normally
I,
when I do a live, someone brings me a nice sandwich and a tall ice glass of water.
okay. Me too. They bring me a full buffet, but I'm
I'm over
no
here
problem.
trying to teach you like you're a puppy, and you're like you know more knowledge than me. Okay, well, the person who placed the bombs outside the DNC in Washington D.C. on January 5th ever be found? And my answer to that is yes.
Well, yeah, and I've read on this. They already know who it is.
That's what I heard too.
No, they already know who it is, but there's some liability with this person because I have always seen this as a staff person connected with a senator. Okay, so this is something that was endorsed. Somebody was put up to it, and for whatever reason, they feel like they need to kind of lay back on this. They've actually known. They knew within a few months after the event of who it was.
But they're holding on to it because they want to wait till they get Trump, right? And then they'll start getting the rest
Yeah,
of
well,
them.
it's a bigger problem how this senator actually, and it was a group of senators that put this. I don't call him an intern, but it was somebody in the office that was put up to do this.
Okay. Thank you, Water Lily.
There's Water Lily. Yeah.
She's a sweetie. Okay. Do you see a question? You want me just to pop one up down there?
Yeah, I'm easy. I mean, we'll take it as it comes. If you see something interesting,
There's a lot of good questions. I just don't want to
uh-huh.
hog the questions.
Yeah, no shortage of good questions, that's for sure. Whatever you like. Host choice.
Mark, we have the University of Texas poll says Ted Cruz is a grad by 20 points. I'm not buying it. What is?
Well, I mean, they're trying to say he's up by 20 points. I read on Ted Cruz before, and I saw him getting replaced by, it was a Colin Allred.
Yes.
I think that's the gentleman. I'm just going from memory.
Good news.
But I saw Ted Cruz was on the way out, and there's still a lot of puppet shows going on in Texas where people are like, don't look at the facts, look at the puppet show.
Yeah.
So I don't see Ted going back in.
I love it. I love it. How about, let's see, let's do this. Oh yeah. Did you see Donald Sutherland passing? He was sick apparently.
Yeah, he just passed away in Miami at the age of 88. Yeah.
Was he in Miami?
They said he passed away in Miami. I think that's where his house was. Yeah.
Well, that was part of the problem. Poor Miami is so hot. So my friend Bob Nelson wrote me and said there's huge fire in New Mexico that's threatening the Mescalerio Apache reservations. I saw big time fires in New Mexico. How are you feeling?
Yeah, well, the whole West actually, and even in parts of Canada on the other side, we've got a lot of fires. In the next 6 to 12 months here, big fire danger in the West of the U.S. And I think what Biden just declared New Mexico a disaster area, right? Or a federal disaster area. So they get assistance. Yeah. California, we had several last week. We'll have some this week. Northern California, Southern California. It's an ongoing problem.
Yeah, and we had several, but that one went out. Thank God. Well, we bought a whole bunch of helicopters. Okay, Julie said, will we learn more about alleged pyramids near the North Pole? I'll be honest with you, that's the first time I've heard of it.
Well, they're not alleged. They're there. So, and the military knows about it, and there's good footage of it. They're buried under the ice, just like also in Antarctica. And they go back millions of years.
Millions of years?
They do, yeah. Some of them are used for power generation. In Antarctica, the large ones there that they refer to them as the Black Pyramids are actually ET bases, and they do a lot of research there. But yeah, there's pyramids in the North Pole as well too. Yeah, and there's already pictures of them. It's all going to be released here shortly.
That's great. I want to tell you, according to my top side, do you see a number up there? 3,841 in the room.
Oh, great! Yeah.
Yay.
I never worry about how many are in the room.
I just think it's so much fun because that vibration of everybody here is just so cool. Good question. God, we got some good questions. Will Trump's cognitive decline come up in his sentencing?
No.
Okay.
No, I mean, meaning he's going to stand trial. He's going to face the piper. It won't be a big factor. And by the way, I've read on this a number of times. I always feel like he's going through the entire election process. He'll be in the vote. He's not going to die. He's not going to get a stroke. He's going to go through the election process. But yeah, as a last ditch effort, he may try to pull a health card, but I don't see that. I don't see him doing it.
You saw he will go through the debate too.
I do. I read on this
I hope he does.
A couple of months ago. I read he's going to go through both debates.
Okay, because I feel like he'll ruin it. But he'll get there. He'll be there.
He will. That's what they've told me all along. Yeah. My team, probably like yours, I mean, they read out the Akashic records. So it's in the record. It's not a matter about how people are feeling or energy. It's about kind of what the future lays out. Yeah.
I even feel Biden's team wants him to be there.
Well, everybody's already banking on it. So they're going to be doing it. The only thing is that 45 is not going to prepare. So he's going to wing it like he does.
Uh-oh. Not good, eh?
Yeah, well, I think people around him are trying to prepare him, but once he gets in the red light goes on the camera, it's all bets are off, and then he goes into a rant. So
I will tell you one hit I did get. if he does show, I'm almost feeling he gets so mad or he thinks this whole thing is so rigged, he walks off. I'm just going to put that up there. Yes or no, it doesn't matter. That's what I saw. Or maybe he steps away to try to regroup, but he's furious. Okay, Jayon wants to know about Fanny Willis's future.
I'm not sure what respect, unless you're asking, will she be pulled off the cases she's on? I don't see that. No.
Good. Yay.
Yeah, I see her still on the cases. She'll fight through it. But if there was a question beyond that, like, is she going to be in the White House or something? I don't see that connection. No.
I didn't know there was an insulin shortage. Did you hear about that? A horrible insulin shortage. I haven't even seen it on the news for U.S. diabetic patients will be over soon. And
yeah, actually,
the government help us?
This has gone in cycles over the years. So what I do see is them bringing insulin in from other areas of the world, what they're telling me. So whether that's Europe or Asia, I see them actually like bolstering the insulin supply. So I feel they're already on top of it.
Okay, because I didn't even know there was an insulin shortage.
It goes in cycles.
Okay, that sounds good. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Will Team Trump's trial delay tactics have a backfire effect of keeping the trials in the news longer and still in the news around the election?
That's it's like a difference without a distinction. I mean, this is just ongoing news cycle, and he has a lot of people that are compromised. That's why they're helping him, and they'll continue to try to throw wrenches in the works. Yeah, so really no big difference there from that. It's actually just going to be ongoing, more of the same. Yeah.
Okay. So hold on, I found a good one too. Here we go. What do you predict SCOTUS will rule on Trump's immunity case?
I read on this many times and even talked about it on the membership this morning. Are you there? You're frozen right now.
Yeah, you're frozen too.
Oh, so we're both frozen. Yeah, I just see that.
We can wait. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. There we go. No. Are you still there?
I'm here. I can hear you audio wise, but obviously we're both frozen. So the StreamYard link went down. Yeah.
It might be because so many people are up 4,148 now. Can you answer the question just on audio?
I can verbally, yes. Well, I'll answer it. What I've always seen is that the court's going to return. It could even be today, right? I predicted this like last Sunday, but I also talked about this months ago. It'll be
Doggone it. Now he's gone.
Let's try it again.
Okay. Can you hear yourself talking?
Yeah, you can hear me, right? But the screenshot went away. If you want, I can go back out and come back in again if you want.
Okay, as long as I'm on, we won't lose our place. Testing, 1, 2, 3. So let me tell you the story of my life while we're waiting on Sterling, so I can knock you guys all out. People are going, no, Linda, no. Hi, Equus. Hi, Ness. Oh, you can hear me. Good. Could you hear Sterling? Lisa's writing me now. Hi, Bob. I broke Sterling. He's one of my favorite peoples. So he'll be back in a minute. He's just going to sign. Oh, here he is. Sorry. I needed to add you to the stage. I'm over there.
Yeah, I thought you didn't love me anymore. You kept me backstage.
I was busy telling everybody my life story, and they were all like, everybody was leaving, and thank God you came back on.
Yeah. So in the immunity case, what I've always seen is that it's going to come back in a 3-tier approach. So the Supreme Court's going to try to say, here's the cases where he has full immunity. He can send a killer drone into another country that might kill people. He has immunity from that, right? For defending democracy or defending the U.S. He doesn't have full immunity if he goes and kills a political rival. But then there's the in-between case the Supreme Court's going to get a little crazy with, and they're going to try to say, in the in-between case, we're going to allow certain courts or districts to adjudicate that. So in which case, like Chutkan will have to say, okay, in this case, like for January 6th or documents or whatnot, does he have immunity? So that I've always seen a 3-tier approach coming from the Supreme Court.
Is it going to piss people off?
It's more of the same. Yeah. Like it just gets, every news cycle is crazy. You know, what's interesting is how numb people are to all the craziness, right? He can absolutely say anything and people are numb to it now.
And we got Alito with the upside down flags lying about the whole flag situation. We have Thomas taking huge payoffs. We've even got Gorsuch couldn't sell a property, and when he became a SCOTUS, he was able to sell the property to a particular man who overpaid for it, whose case was coming up.
And look at Thomas with right now over $4 million and counting. Looks like it's going to go up over 5 million by the time it's done here.
But I feel like they're all going to be gone. I mean, am I wishing, or is that for real?
No, it always looks to me like 2 of them are going to get, 2 to 3 will get pushed out the door, and then there'll be more coming in through the Biden administration.
Okay. So KT wants to know, can we talk about Roger Stone? Did you see this? And his message about the special judges. I think he's a big wannabe somebody, and he's kind of a liar. So I think
I don't see. Yeah, I don't see any real traction with this. I feel like he's talking almost like a mafia goon. It's like, here's the threats we have on you. And yeah, I understand things he says. Look, there are corrupt judges everywhere. Just a matter of life. That's the way it is, right? There's good and bad. But the threat that they'll overturn the election is not going to happen. According to my team, it's not going to happen.
Okay. Oh yeah. What was this? Deb Z just said something. Alito was missing from the Supreme Court the last 2 days. Why? Ooh, good question.
I get something having to do with his health, but it's more like a medical situation. I mean, no heart attack or anything, but I mean, it's like, colonoscopy, something going on. It's like there's like a medical procedure going on that had to be addressed. Yeah.
Well, it doesn't help with all this pressure too. Good. I'm glad he's under pressure.
It's a good song. It's a good song, by the way.
Under pressure. What do you see for Josh Hawley? Will he win re-election? I don't know.
Yeah. I don't get he's going to win re-election. He had a chance for a while, but what I get is he blew his chance. So he went complete rogue. Not going to happen. No.
I got to ask you. A friend and I were talking in detail, and I got to tell you, I feel America's going to be surprised how clean of a win Biden gets. I don't think it's going to be like the last time everybody's waiting for 3 or 4 days. I feel like it's going to be enough that it's going to be hard for Trump to call it a fraud.
Yeah, I mean, what I see as we move through that, there's going to be a lot of dust up, so to speak, around the election. So the GOP Republicans will cause a lot of confusion around it and say, we're not accepting the result. Oh, these 3 states, they weren't counted correctly. So it could be a big dust up. But in the end, the numbers are going to hold for Biden. So the numbers that you see, almost initially, those numbers will hold.
Okay, and the other thing is, I see Johnson trying to do something behind closed doors to disrupt this. But let me tell you what, he's not going to be able to do it. I see them trying to start something that they can't finish.
Yeah, I mean, all this gets back to the Project 2025 and the 7 mountains, right? The 7 mountains strategy. It's all going to fall by the wayside, but it's causing a lot of chaos. Yeah.
We got 4,883 in the House. Yay. Okay, so thanks for coming, everybody. So listen, Matt Gaetz, will he ever be accountable for his misdeeds?
Maybe not in the way that people expect. So it looks like he doesn't get reelected. He kind of like goes out to pasture, and he's kind of disgruntled. But I don't see him in jail if that's what they're asking. But I see his like political career, like a lot of the GOP, as we get a year out to 2 years, a lot of GOP members are involved in all the chaos. Are going to go by the wayside. They'll be put out to pasture.
Well, Jack Smith is waiting to be able to do January 6th. And when he does that, he wants to get, that's why he didn't get all of them in there. He wanted to focus on Trump. When he finishes with that, I've always said that's when he goes back and subpoena.
Yeah, no, I agree. I've said that myself on our shows, is that this has to do with the number of cases and bandwidth that the legal system has. They can't go after everybody. However, their strategy is once they get 45 locked down, meaning, the cases, the judgments, now they'll use those cases to leverage the other GOP members. They'll look based on this case in Georgia, this case in New York. They'll use those cases to leverage the other ones. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, Joe asks, will climate change craziness ever back down sometime soon? Will we figure out how to undo or control it? Can I say something?
Sure.
Florida, poor Florida, it's really going to hit hard this year. There's rainstorms and there's heat things that are like off the charts. And I think enough will happen that all nations will say, we've got to figure out some way to control this. They're trying as it is, but we're really getting hit hard the next couple of years.
Yeah. So, right. I mean, climate change right now, we're paying for everything that happened the last couple of decades. So it's at least another decade before a lot of this starts to turn. I mean, all the radical climate that we're experiencing, the hot all over the East Coast and the flooding, fires. But, there's still things we'll contend with here due to climate change that won't change. For example, the Doomsday Glacier that's melting, right? So that's going to raise sea levels around the world 1 to 2 feet. That ship has already sailed. That glacier is melting.
There's something with the saline or the salt in the water.
Yeah, no, I mean, not a direct factor from that, but the rising sea levels are going to cause problems. A lot of coastal communities worldwide. But everything that we're doing now and we'll start to do now, like in the next Biden administration, we'll start to turn it around. So reduction in greenhouse gases, more green technology, more renewable technology, offshore wind farms, which are just fine in most of the world, offshore windmills, wind farms.
Yeah.
I think 45 was trying to say that the offshore wind farms were killing a lot of birds, which is not the case.
Right. And what about sharks and batteries in the water?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Sorry, I had to go there. Melissa wants to know, will there be another January 6th?
There won't be an insurrection at the Capitol, but there's going to be a lot of unrest around the country. Yeah, there will be a lot of unrest. And the military and the government are actually on top of it. So they're already on top of what they're going to need in every major city. I see every major city having a backup plan for what happens if they're rioting. So
okay. Also, but I never saw these are outbursts. I saw outbursts, but I never saw a civil war.
No, I don't see a civil war either. That's the big threat, that there's going to be a civil war. Yeah.
Yeah, but they don't own jets and tanks, and it's not muskets anymore. So, okay, so we answered the pipe bomber thing.
By the way, movies in Hollywood don't always do a lot of good either. Like the movie Civil War came out, it doesn't help. It doesn't help the whole discussion.
I didn't actually get it. I saw it and I was confused.
Yeah, that's what happens when you have a poor script. Sorry. Yeah. But the other thing is, a new movie coming out, I'll hedge in here, is The Quiet Place. And it's all
that looks fantastic.
Yeah, well, the new one here, there's a new one coming out, but it's all about the attack of aliens. So they're not helping the situation. I mean, a lot of the extraterrestrials I've communicated with are like, what's up with that?
Oh, I know. They're sweethearts. I know what you're saying, but
Yeah, no, so that's not helping with a lot of people that are getting introduced over the next couple of years here before
But I gotta
disclosure
tell you,
happens.
I'm one of those ones that likes Godzilla and all those kind of movies. I like all that drama. I know it since I was a little girl. I used to love King Kong and all that. But this new one that's coming out about the beginning. Okay, so there's A Quiet Place 1 and 2, and they were excellent. As far as I'm concerned, they were, even though they're fantasy. But the one is what happened before the second and the third one happened. So it's coming out next Saturday, and me and the kids are going to go see it.
Yeah, just the way aliens are depicted is not helpful because they're running away from aliens the whole time. They're trying to attack them and tear them down. It doesn't help.
War of the Worlds. That was a good
yeah.
That was one of my favorites. I do watch that on and off. Ooh, what? Is John Fetterman a fraud? What? That doesn't make sense to me. I don't think
that question doesn't make sense. No.
It doesn't make sense.
By the way, people have to be careful, where you consume news, because I see all the time. I mean, Linda goes through some 400 questions every week that we get for our shows. And a lot of times people frame a question as a fact. I've heard this in the news, XYZ, and the fact's completely off. Like Linda will check and like that person never said that.
Yeah,
that's not a real. So I guess this is kind of a message out to the community. I think everybody needs to be careful about the news they consume, and also fact check. Do a quick Google check or something, Google search, because what happens is you perpetuate. If you don't actually do a little due diligence, you perpetuate the wrong information.
Yeah. That's interesting. I've never heard that, and all the time. And I watch a lot of news except for Fox. I've never heard of that. Will Prince Harry's visa stay private? And will he win his appeal for private security in the UK?
Yeah, I don't even get that his visa status or whatnot is private. That's out in public. But the private security, no. He'll have to pay for it.
Okay. Oh, okay. Yeah, they're not giving him much of a break for Prince Harry.
Yeah, no, there's a real separation in the family. Yeah.
Yeah. So you remember Dan, right?
No, who's Danis, the artist painter? Who is that?
Yeah, he's a pain in the rear.
Will Amy Coney Barrett be the deciding factor in the immunity decision? No, because it's like I said, I think it's really they're telling me it's gonna come down to a 3-tier ruling. So it's not a binary decision. It's not full immunity or no immunity. It's a complex write-up as to how they're going to move forward. So,
well, also I do see another before the election. I do see another trial, but it might not be a trial with jury. It might be this particular judge decides to bring the evidence out for people to hear. There's something else coming out. That's what I got.
The trial or the mini trial that I saw was that in between immunity case we're talking about here. We talk about the 3-tier. Yeah. It's that in between case that says he can kill in this case, he can't kill in that case. But the intermediate one, how do you handle it? That's going to require a little jury, a little trial that will figure out how they're going to handle it. Like, does 45 have immunity going forward in the January 6th case or the documents case? So they have to answer the question. That's where the Supreme Court's going to pass it down. Yeah.
I feel no, that he will not have immunity.
Correct. I agree. I agree.
Okay. Oh, that's a good question. Darcy, do you see Hakeem Jeffries, who's just stands in the light? That guy has so much behind him as far as masters around him. His eloquent talk, he's just so beautiful. Will he ever run for president? That's interesting.
He'll throw his hat in the ring, but it won't go very far because there'll be other candidates around him that are a little broader experience or something here, more foreign experience. Yeah, and he'll throw his hat in the ring, but it looks like in the early stages, I always start with like 12 candidates, and then they reduce it down to 2 or 3 or something. So he'll be in that first tranche. Yeah.
But I think as a speaker, he's in line for the presidency as a speaker.
Yeah. The only thing I would tell him in a kind way is to, I would say, back down on all the hand movements.
What hand movements?
Have you ever watched Hakeem Jeffrey talk? With almost every syllable, he waves his hands.
I didn't know that. I'll have to watch it. Well,
yeah, no, watch it.
Trump who plays the accordion.
In a kind way, it's distracting. It's distracting.
I've never noticed it.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, and I think Obama had a little bit of that. That's okay. Obama would do it in certain times, but I see Hakeem Jeffrey, almost every word in every sentence, he's waving his hands. You'll see.
That's Nancy Pelosi. She does she always is raising her hand.
It's just distracting. That's all. It's just communication. Yeah.
It didn't distract me. I like listening to him. I think his words are elegant, but So this is interesting. I think I saw what this was. What was the cause of the raid in California mayor's homes yesterday? Was that the one where the guy went chasing the stripper with a gun? Or is this a different one?
I don't have all the details, but what I do pick up on that is there's some connection to like foreign interference. So whatever, like a payoff, there's some like illicit payoff going on. That's why they grabbed all the records to figure out who's communicating with who and where the money's coming from. Because I'm getting a really direct like offshore connection here, whether it's China or Russia or something here. Yeah.
Wow. By the way, somebody said this, but it went by so fast I didn't get to flag it. So you guys help us out. So did you see that Trump is considering Vance for VP and another guy?
JD, you're talking about JD Vance. Yeah. Oh.
And another guy, the real rich one.
Is it Berg something? I forget his name now.
Yeah, but you know who I'm talking about. But he also said Marco Rubio is not off the picture. So he's looking at two guys that have some top dollars.
Well, the answer for me is every time I've looked at this, it's a blank slate, believe it or not. So it looks like he either doesn't pick a VP or it's at the last minute, and then it doesn't matter. But there's something going on here where there's a big shell game going on regarding because every time I've looked at it, a lot of times my team will give me a very specific that person. And I'm not seeing it in 45's case.
Okay. So you're not even seeing a firm pick?
I'm not. No. Every time I've looked at it several times, it's like, and that means he may start out like, I'm going to pick you, and then he doesn't, and then he goes back to another person. By the way, kind of fascinating, the other day on the news, they played back a lot of clips from prior years with JD Vance and all the things he said about 45. There's a laundry list of things he said. He's the most corrupt person I've ever been around. He can't be trusted. You should have heard the litany. I mean, it took me back with the very specific things he said. And then you fast forward to like yesterday and he said, I think he's the perfect guy for the job. It's like, there's a lot of wrong going on that side of the politics.
Going on.
Yeah.
And the other thing is, years ago, well, about last year, I saw him on a show, Donald Trump, and he said to somebody like this, that he was going to choose Ben Carson as his VP. And they said, you want Ben Carson? He goes, yeah, I'm pretty much sure that's who I'll pick, Ben Carson. If you look at it, Ben Carson will just do anything he says. And then all of a sudden, Ben Carson's out of the picture. So that's so weird.
Yeah, I said for whatever reason, my team has always said there is a big shell game going on with the VP pick. And so like, it's almost like he can't ever figure out exactly who's the most beneficial to him, because that's really what he needs, is somebody that can bring him the minority vote, the women's vote. He needs somebody to help him, but he can't figure out who it's going to be.
The other thing is they're talking about all this money, $100-something million he brought in. Remember that there was two multi-billionaires who gave $50 million apiece. So $100 million of it was from two people.
Mhm.
The rest is his 30 million or whatever was from. So Biden is actually making more money than he is if you count just regular people.
The Los Angeles event that was held here, I think it was this week,
With
raised
Obama.
more, $30 million, raised more money than any other single political event in history. Yeah.
Wow. Can you believe it, my friend? So, well, listen, I know we was having a good time, but I always kind of keep it to 45 minutes.
No problem. You're the host.
It's hard for me to stay up over 45 minutes.
No problem. It's all good. All good. And
So I hope we do this again. By the way, I'll be having you not this Sunday, next Sunday, the last Sunday of the month.
Yeah. Okay. I was going to check the schedule with Linda. Yep.
Yeah, it's not this Sunday. There's one more Sunday coming after this. That's still in June. Can you believe how close June is going?
Yeah. Yeah. So it's the year's going very, very quickly.
Yeah. So listen, this one woman just said, why don't readers see Trump making it to the election? I just think I see him blowing up, but I want him to be in the election so he loses fair and square.
Yeah. From years ago, I've always seen he makes it to the election. He's the GOP pick. Biden's the Democratic pick. He makes it through the election. And then after it's very evident that he didn't win the election and he can't win no matter what he does, that coupled with all the pending potential prison time, that's when he says adios.
Right. Thank you, Water Lily. Thank you, Lisa.
Yeah.
Foster. To all our P. Sherry from Voices from the Swamp. She just got in. She said she'll watch it later. But Ness came in. Equus is here. We have some real good monitors. Seascape. Thank you, Bob Nelson. And I think Dan was here. Thank you so much, you guys. And thank you, Sterling. That was so much fun.
Absolutely. Always a pleasure
getting
together.
Okay? Did you like it okay?
Say again?
Did you like it okay because you've already done live, but
actually I've always done lives, but I didn't always do lives to the public because actually you attract a lot of elements sometimes out there in public you don't need to spend time with. Does that make sense?
Right.
So so I said, look, if it's under membership, I'm happy to do it. Or if it's we're doing we'll go through 400 questions, answer them on a show. It's kind of like just using your time in a way that's most efficient. So, okay. But I'm happy. But you and I, you're like family, so it's always fun.
My family, that's for sure. You and your beautiful wife. Okay, you guys. Now stay on real quick, Sterling. I just want to ask you something. Bye, you guys. I want to hit you up for some money. Okay, bye. As he comes.
Take care, everybody.
As he comes off real fast. Love you all. Cheers.